You know, I'm not an industry analyst, but I've been gaming for so long that I just see patterns. I see patterns in the industry and not so much in other industries where I can judge more or less where things might be going. A lot of, entertainment in general generally surprises me. You just don't see things coming. But when it comes to video games, I'm pretty good at predicting outcomes. A couple of times where I can say that I've been incredibly incorrect was when Nintendo named the Wii. I was 100% against it. I thought it was the dumbest name ever. And when I first saw the Wii remote, I thought, wow, this system is definitely not going to be better than the GameCube. It's definitely just going to flop. It didn't capture me until after I saw the nunchuck, and then it made sense. Okay, I can control and blah blah blah. And then the Wii was a smash hit. I still stand on the Wii being a dumb name, but I stand corrected. The system went on to sell. It's Nintendo's second most successful console of all time. But when I'm right, I'm right. And for the last 3 years, I've been predicting what's going to come in the way of Sony. Sony started publishing their games on PC. And now the Sony fans are like, well, it's not the same, blah, 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 blah. With the rumored Xbox that is coming out that will have Steam on it, if you haven't heard about it, please Google the next Xbox having Steam on it. That would eliminate any first-party games being exclusive to PlayStation, because if you purchase the new Xbox and it has access to Steam, you can download those first-party PlayStation games from Steam on your Xbox. So there would be no exclusives. But today, Sony, you went a step further. You don't have Game Pass yet, which I am dubbing Sony Gameplay or Play Pass. You can feel free to trademark that. Sony Play Pass as their Game Pass alternative. Well, you don't have that yet. But what is Sony doing? What is Sony doing that Microsoft also is doing? Sony is bringing their exclusives, their PlayStation exclusives, to Nintendo. Sony PlayStation fanboys ate me up in the comments. They called me a Microsoft fanboy. They called me a Nintendo fanboy. I've been called everything, a fanboy of everything, just because I see things, I see patterns, and then I call them out. So a couple of years ago, when Microsoft started trending into the third-party space, I said, okay, I mean, Microsoft has surprised me in a couple of aspects where I really did think they were going to focus heavily more on Game Pass than they have been in the last couple of months. But I did see them publishing on other software. I did see them hardware, excuse me. I did see them slowly but surely moving away from the hardware space, making a more all-in-one box. I did think it was going to be something of an Android box. I went on here and predicted, that they will go through one more generation of what we would consider a traditional Xbox console, and that's exactly what it looks like it has been moving towards. Phil Spencer said it, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said it, and the Xbox fanboys were hardcore against it until slowly but surely they had the campaign that was like, hey, this is an Xbox, everything's an Xbox, and I was right. And now we're seeing Xbox games on Nintendo platforms, we're seeing them on Sony platforms, on PC, and on their own platform, essentially rendering their exclusivities as pretty much useless at this point. The only one that really hasn't jumped ship is Halo, and mark my words, that's next. And then we move on to Sony. With PlayStation, I've said that, they're behind a couple of years. I said around 5 years, and they've proven me wrong in that because they're moving faster than I expected. But nonetheless in the pattern that I knew they would be. I said, oh, all the Sony fanboys, all the Sony ponies, they're laughing now at Microsoft because, oh my God, look, we got their games on our systems now. Well, Sony isn't laughing because we're entering the 7th month, actually the 8th month of the year. It's about to be August of 2025, and the top selling game on PlayStation 5 for the last 8 months, year to date, the top selling game on PlayStation 5 is Forza Horizon, an Xbox game. That's the number one selling game for the year so far on PlayStation 5. And when November rolls around and Call of Duty comes out, guess what? That's going to be another Microsoft game that will be number one on the platform. So Sony hasn't been doing jack for your system since last year. And I said, well, what are they going to do to make some money? When they looked at last year's numbers, 75% of their holiday sales were Xbox products. Well, let's look at what I said would happen. I said they were going to follow Microsoft's footsteps slowly but surely. And they're going to slowly but surely become a third party. And nobody wanted to hear it. Chris didn't want to hear it. The Sony ponies in the comments didn't want to hear it. There's going to be some Sony pony comments that I'm going to be posting somewhere in here. And while I do that, let's go ahead and read this coming from GoNintendo.com. What does it say? Sony is hiring for a new role to bring more games to Nintendo hardware. Oh my God, what's going on? Is Sony becoming a third party? Absolutely they are. In recent years, we've seen the PlayStation brand opening up beyond its own borders to bring games to other platforms, including Nintendo hardware, with recent examples including games like LEGO Horizon Adventures and the MLB series coming over to Switch. Let's not forget Patapon 1 and 2. Let's not forget Let's Go Golf. There was a butt ton of games coming over to Nintendo from Sony. And thanks to a new job listing, we know this is just the start for Sony. Sony has just posted a job listing for a senior director for multi-platform and account management. And as the name indicates, the position will be in charge of bringing select PlayStation titles to hardware outside of Sony's own offerings. Specifically, the job posting says the hire will play a critical leadership role in shaping and executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studio software titles across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware, including Steam, Epic Game Store, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile. Obviously, there's no mention in the listing of what PlayStation titles we can expect to see going onto Nintendo hardware, but just having more confirmation of software heading to Nintendo platforms is exciting. Now we get to sit back and see what PlayStation games will eventually make it onto Nintendo fans' platforms. Well. Sony is a third-party company. They are doing exactly the same as Microsoft. The next step, and it's coming, and you're going to tell me, oh, I don't see it happening. Well, I've been right. So don't tell me any different. There will be a PlayStation streaming service like Game Pass. Call it Play Pass, Sony. It's free. You could take that name. PlayStation Pass. Whatever. It's coming. That's the next step. They're building the infrastructure. Microsoft already had it. Obviously, Microsoft's a giant tech company, way bigger than Sony. And of course, they just had the means to create that platform, that service. Sony is going to dip into that 1,000%. They're going to make their own version of it. But there it is. In the meantime, how can we maximize the number of... I mean, these games are so expensive to make. The only company that mitigates their costs when making these blockbuster AAA games is Nintendo. So who won the console wars, boys? Who won? It certainly wasn't Microsoft. And it certainly isn't PlayStation. The winner of the console wars is Nintendo, because Nintendo has PlayStation games on there now. Nintendo has Xbox games on there now, and they are the only company to continue to make exclusives on their system. You cannot get Nintendo games on PlayStation, and you cannot get Nintendo games on Xbox or Steam. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you're a Sony pony, how can you defend this? I want to hear your thoughts. Am I wrong? Just like I was wrong about the Xbox? Oh, wait, I wasn't. Am I wrong, Xbox fans? Just like I was. Oh, wait, I wasn't. The next step for Sony will be creating their own version of that. They're going to try to enter the handheld space. And I guarantee you this. Here's a future prediction for you before I end this video. The last 30 seconds that I've got. The next PlayStation will be extremely similar to whatever Microsoft offers, in the way that it may be some kind of a weird hybrid console. PlayStation will also be entering the handheld space, and the next PlayStation system will cost $1,000. That's just me shooting in the dark. Those are wild predictions that I have no indications for. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of Sony hiring for a new role to bring their first-party games over to Xbox and Nintendo. As always, my name is Anthony, and I'm here with Star Flag Media. And I'm just glad you guys joined me. As you know, I've been trickling out these videos. Happy to guys. Leave that thumbs up. Please comment and subscribe if you already haven't. I will catch you guys in the next video. By the way, go ahead and check out this video here and this video here, where I call out Sony previously. When you're right, you're right.